Good morning, everybody. This is Dee. I hope everyone had a lovely Friday night and is having a good Saturday morning. What time is it? Is it early? No, it's only, it's 9:50. It's late. It's late in the day. So I thought I would start off the weekend by making a video, and I wanted it to be something with some substance, not something stupid. So I thought I'd make a video about one way to make changes in your life, to make major changes. And this has worked for me, so I'm not like talking out of my butt here because I know this works. Like research-wise it works, but it has also worked for me personally, and I'll tell you how it worked. So, but let me explain first the method. If you've seen this method before, you probably have at some point. Then, I mean, it's your choice if you want to watch or not, but it works. I feel like there's never, like, even things that I know that I've seen, if it's positive and it's helpful, I'll watch it again and again and drill it into myself, and I find it never hurtful to watch something again that's positive. Anyway, so I don't know if you're able to read this, but anyways, it's talking about how to make change. So this, let's use an example of, so I'll tell you how this worked for me. When I was young, way back, young in the day, and I was 21 years old, and I was a smoker. I used to smoke, and I remember finding out I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had to quit smoking. So it was a no-go. It was a time, like, had to quit smoking. That was it. So, and I was like, how the heck do I attack this? Because I wanted to be successful. I didn't want to just keep failing at it and feel like a jerk. So I started reading about it and reading about different ways, and this is what I came across. So I thought this is what I'd try, because I had a very specific habit. I smoked, but I never ever smoked when I was at home. I would only smoke when I was out and driving, when I was in my car. That was my habit. I don't know why, and I don't know, like, I wasn't someone who smoked every hour, or like, so I don't know why I was even doing it in the first place. It was ridiculous and stupid. But in my mind, it was still a habit. Every time I got in that car, I wanted to smoke. So, because that's what I did. So what I did was so that was my trigger, being in the car. Going out for a drive, being in the car anywhere, that was my trigger to want to smoke, right? I had the opportunity. I was out in the vehicle. That's where I like to do it. That's where I would smoke. And then I would have a cigarette. That's the behavior. And then the reward was, it speaks for itself. I had a cigarette. I didn't have that craving. I didn't have that feeling that I wanted to have a cigarette because I had just done it. So that's the circle, the trigger. The opportunity is there for you to have that behavior, for you to perform that behavior, that act. Then there's the behavior itself and the reward. So how I changed this was I decided that I changed up my reward and I changed up the behavior. So if you change anything in this cycle, and you're likely to make it easier for yourself to change the behavior, if that's what you want to change. Just change any of the other three things, and you're likely to find it easier to alter what that behavior is. So, and then you'll alter the outcome. So that's the goal. And this kind of piggybacks off the video I made a little earlier about making goals and making changes that way. So this is one way to make changes towards your goals, right? So let's say your trigger is that you smoke, because it's an easy one. And let's say, here's an example of how you could change it up a little bit. So you could change the opportunity, I find, is the best way. So what I did was, anyways, as soon as I got in the car, when I wanted to change that, I had the opportunity, it was there, but the behavior, instead of smoking, I decided to start chugging water. And that's where I got my habit of chugging water. I was 20 years old. It never went away. To this day, I chug water all day and night because that was a habit that I replaced. So what I started doing was I brought a big bottle of water. As soon as I got in the car, I started drinking water, And another thing with smoking is you drink water for a few minutes, the craving goes away anyway. But I didn't know that at the time. I just drank water. And my reward, and I mean, every psychologist and everyone in the world will tell you this is a bad reward, but it worked for me, is to reward yourself with food. But it did work for me. So right by where I used to go all the time was like my area. There was a deli, a really famous actual deli. It's like quite famous, and they had the best hot dogs in the world. And my reward was, if I didn't smoke, then every couple days, I think it was like every 2 days, if I got through every 2 days, I would go to this place and buy one of their amazing hot dogs. So that was my reward. It worked at the time. Those hot dogs were good enough, and the water behavior thing worked, and I was able to stop smoking at that time. And I remember it working and thinking, this is awesome. It worked. I can't believe it, but it did. So I was successful at making that change at that time in my life. So, and I was only a kid. I was young. I was like 21 years old. So let's use smoking, but change it up differently. Let's say your habit is you get up every morning and let's start the day right, not smoke. You get up and let's say you have your coffee and your cigarette every morning. Set your alarm. Let's try changing the opportunity. So maybe set your alarm for half an hour later than usual, or 20 minutes later than usual, so you don't have time to sit and have a coffee and a cigarette. And instead have your coffee while you're getting ready, doing your makeup or doing your hair or your hygiene stuff. Drink it while you're getting ready for work. And then go to work and make your reward something else. Either like maybe you take that extra half hour that you gained of sleep in the morning and stay up an extra half hour at night and have a nice hot bubble bath for yourself. Or, you know, maybe you reward yourself with, like, you don't want to be spending tons of money, but maybe if you get through the week and do that, you buy yourself lunch at the end of the week or something. Think of something that is an easy reward, something that ideally it doesn't cost you a lot of money, isn't going to take away. Like, you're going to save money smoking. That's the other thing, is that you can use the money you spent on smoking initially to spend money on your reward. So that's a kind of a neat way to kind of gain, to benefit, and to be able to instead of buying that pack of cigarettes, if you get through the day without buying it, use that money for something else that you like, that you enjoy, and have that at the end of the day or whatever, something like that, right? You use that money to reward yourself, or save it up, and at the end of the week you can go to the mall and buy something or whatever, wherever you like to shop. But another one I think of that if it was me, I don't do this, but I would stop this if I was doing it. I see a lot of people leave their gyms, and the gyms outside so smartly have these amazing smoothie bars and Starbucks or whatever, all these great spots. And people leave the gym and go and buy these $10 smoothies. If it was me, I would, let's use that as an example. There's your trigger. You leave the gym, you finish working out, you're like thirsty, you feel dehydrated, you need some nutrition. Your opportunity's there. Look, voila, right outside the gym is this $10 smoothie shop, or like a Fresh to Go or something like that, a green press where you can buy yourself a nice $10 drink. If it were me, I would use that money instead, go buy myself a Ninja or a blender or something, and fruit and bananas and frozen berries and stuff, have it at home, and chug water all the way home. Make that my behavior instead of buying the expensive smoothie. If you want to save a little money here over the long term, change that behavior and drink water all the way home, and reward yourself at home with an amazing homemade smoothie. It's an easy one. You just buy all the frozen berries and everything from your grocery store, just throw in some fresh fruit, and there you go. You can buy a pack of like nutrient powder, like I showed you before, like my amazing one. That's exactly what I do with it. I throw it in my smoothies. Buy something like that, throw it in, and you've got the nutrients that you're told are in these smoothies at these restaurants or these smoothie bars. Do something like that. That's something that you could change, and over the long run, that would save you a whole lot of money, right? And then you'd have that extra money to do whatever the heck you want with it, right? But maybe that's your money that's your money you throw into like a bank account that you're saving up for a vacation with, or you're saving up for a new pair of shoes with, or whatever the heck it is, right? That's something you could change. So I guess the point of it is, I don't want to make this long and drawn out, but I just wanted to get the point across that this is the circle of how it works. It's your trigger, your opportunity is there for you to have it. Your behavior is what you want to change, that, and then there's your reward. So if you change any of these other three factors, you've destroyed the circle. You've weakened it. It's like the weakest link. And then you're more likely to be able to change that behavior. So anyway, there's 1,000,001 ways if you read about it and do research on how to make changes in your life and change bad habits or change negative behaviors, or even any behaviors that aren't so negative even, but something you want to make a change to in your life that'll benefit you in the long run. Here's one possible way to be able to implement that change, and it's a place to start. and maybe you'll find it doesn't work for you, but it doesn't matter, because in making change, it's the starting that's the problem, the hard part. Once you start, you can taper it, you can move things around, you can do things. It's the starting that's the biggest challenge in making any change. So there you have it, my friends. There's my start off to the weekend, my positive video that I wanted to make. And I hope it makes sense to everybody, and I hope it's helpful. I hope it's useful anyway. It really did work for me. So, and I've used it many times in my life for studying. I've used it to help me study better and to commit myself to that when I was exhausted and I was in university, and I also had the 2 kids and I was trying to find time to do everything. I used it to help me study. I've used it at different times in my life when I needed to change things up and I wanted to do it quickly. I didn't want to do it slowly. I didn't want to make slow change. I wanted to do something quick. I've used that method and that has worked for me. So I wanted to share it with you guys, and hopefully it helps. So you guys take care and have a lovely Saturday, and I will be back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.